So I am a little bit early. It is currently 6:54, so I'm a little bit early. Um, Still issues with YouTube, so I need just a little bit here to get everything set up with the video itself. So just kind of bear with me here. Usually I try to get on here about 6:45, but it is now 5 to 7. Trying to get everything done that I needed to get done in order to go live. So let me go in here. I'm going to kind of like update all the info. I have descriptive stuff that I can add, and my thumbnail, my nice pretty thumbnail that I put together. So I'm going to add that, and be right back. Oops. What is this? Okay, let's see if I can find. Oh, hello, Carol. Welcome. Just bear with me for a little bit. I wanted to try and get on here a little bit earlier so I can get everything set up. I really, really wish YouTube would get their act together and fix the issues so that way all I can do is schedule and then just hit live. But they can't even give an answer as to what's going on. So I have to set everything up just as I go live. I'm glad that you did get your card. Let me see here. This is a Friday Night Live. And I'll get that link up that I normally put up here in a moment. Okay. So that's saving. Yeah. Oops, let's turn that off. We don't need to hear me twice. Yeah, they're complaining, and the problem is they reach out and they don't get any straight answers as to what the problem is. I mean, evidently they did something for some other feature, and I think a behind the scenes thing, it just messed it all up. Okay, so give me once. I'm going to pin this message for the drawing later on. But give me a moment here because I do need to get it opened up. Let's see, where am I at here? All right, there's that. And this. All right. So I think I have everything done now. Is there anything else? I have noticed on the videos, even if I watch the replay, and boy, it's Terry. Hello, Terry. I just got done getting everything added, so I haven't started on anything. So I got on here just a little bit later than I wanted to. But the one thing I have noticed, and I don't know if you guys see this as well. So below the video, I just would normally see the box that would have the description stuff like the card dimensions and everything. But now it's like I see under the video, like under, the channel name and the title and the analytics and all that. I see one box that tells me, okay, how many are watching, how long ago I streamed and where, and the description. And then I see another box to the right of it that basically says live chat, join the conversation to interact with the creator and others watching this. Hello, Froggy. So I don't know what they're doing. They're just adding a whole bunch of stuff and I don't know what they're doing. So let's see. I think I got everything set up. Again, I have that spreadsheet open up. Did I not pin it? I thought I pinned this. Okay. So it's pinned up at the top. I have uh, the link to that Google Doc to add your names for the cards uh, that I will be giving away. And Terry, I'm not sure if Yvonne is going to be here or not. I know her friend Lisa was coming into town, so I'm not sure. She'll catch the replay. So on the replay, hi Yvonne. Hope you're enjoying your time with your friend Lisa, and maybe I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is my in-person class using the same suite of products I am using tonight. The cards are going to be different, but it's a really great suite of product. Love the fall, love the DSP. So that's what we're going to be working with tonight. Um, right now, like I said, there's really not a whole lot to talk about. Um, it's just been working and creating and getting videos done and projects done. Today, my coworker, she took the day off, and after she was done doing what she was doing, she stopped by here. And so, talk about getting distracted on getting things done. Luckily, it was a light work day, so we had gone to lunch and we came back here. So yeah, I still got work to do on those two more projects for tomorrow's class. Nothing like last minute. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to flip this camera and get everything kind of lined up. And there's a couple of like announcement type things, not much at all. And then from there, we will jump into the projects because I really don't want to be up all night because I know I got to get up very early tomorrow. I'm going to take advantage of early voting and stop at the store. So do all this before the class starts at 10 o'clock. So let me go ahead and flip this And let's see if we can get it to go on the first try. And I know I need to adjust this because I had to make it a little bit higher. So if you get motion sickness, look away for a moment until I get this thing kind of pulled out and where I need it to be. And I apologize for my arm being in the way. And kind of move some things out of the way. I needed to replace my grid paper because while I was working earlier, I did make a mess. Move down a little bit. And of course, there's a delay from what I see. Okay. All right, I think we are good. Oh, your early voting started already? Ours started on Wednesday. And yeah, I didn't think I would go, and I'm kind of glad I didn't, because here in Ohio, I think there was a good number of people that voted on the first day. I figured I'll do it on first thing Saturday morning, so. All right, so looks like everything looks straight and we're good. I can bring this down just a little bit more. All right, and I apologize for my arm in the way. Okay, so the few things that I want to make mention again, our kits collection, they are up to 30% off. This goes until October 31st. So there's a whole lot of different kits out there. There's one for that are card kits, treat packaging, home decor, and more out there. So the link again is in the description of the video. So I don't know what's out there now. If you see something that you do like and it says currently unavailable, that means it will come back. At what point, I don't know if it'll be in time before the sale is over, but if you see currently unavailable, that just means that it's going to be coming back. Ooh, a craft fair. Yeah, I'm in Tennessee. Okay, so there's that. We get that out of the way. Then we still have the starter kit special going on. With this goes until the 31st. If you find yourself purchasing the product and you want a discount on it, you can get $155 worth of product of your choosing for $99 plus tax. The shipping is free. So in your kit, again, you choose what you would like. You have the option. There's going to be some new online exclusive items that will be available for customers in November. Right now, demonstrators can pre-order the stuff. I actually did get at least one suite, and this is the one with that whole big Valentine, the marbled elegance. So really pretty paper. I'll show this in the next week's live, because I kind of have like the bits and pieces to it kind of laying around. I didn't exactly I said Ohio? Did I seriously say Ohio? Okay. Who knows what I'm going to end up saying tonight? No, yeah, I am in Tennessee. I used to live in Ohio. Okay. But anyway, back to this. So when you get the starter kit, yes, you are a demonstrator. You get all the perks of being a demonstrator. You get the instant discount on your orders. you get to pre-order from a new catalog. You get to see the new catalog before everybody else. And then there's also the Stampin' Up! Demonstrator only events that you can attend to also. Now, to be a demo, that doesn't mean you have to do what I'm doing, where I'm doing the videos, building a business, and all that. You can simply be a demo just to receive the discount. And there's no commitments. There is a quarterly minimum that you have to meet, and if you don't, then it's no biggie. Then you can just go back to being a customer. So that, if you have any questions about this at all, um, feel free to send me an email. It's in the description, and I'll be more than happy to. Oh, yeah, honey, you think that I all of a sudden jumped from Tennessee to Ohio. There's too much stuff to move on. No, 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 no. I lived in Ohio. I'm still in Tennessee, still in the same place when you came here last to visit. So, but anyway, again, if you have any questions about the whole starter kit special, feel free to reach out and be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. Another thing that's going on, this is more for all the scrapbookers out there. As you know, a few months ago, Close to My Heart had closed their doors, and Stampin' Up! Had brought on some of those makers that wanted to become demonstrators. Stampin' Up, was big into doing the scrapbooking stuff many years ago, and they kind of fell away from the traditional 12 by 12 scrapbooking. So when Close to My Heart was closing their doors, they decided to step up and kind of offer these makers an opportunity to be part of the Stampin' Up! Family. There were also some products too that Close to My Heart had that Stampin' Up! Did purchase, and originally it was only available to those makers and to their customers. They had to have created an account with that maker by a certain time. So in the beginning, only the actual makers and their customers were able to purchase those products that actually said Close to My Heart. So right now, I do have a link to this in the description that'll take you directly to the page online that contains the Close to My Heart products. Now, some of these things, it's while the supplies last deal, because I guess a lot of the product still has like that Close to My Heart name on it. And they're kind of phasing that out and having Stampin', it's now going to be under Stampin' Up. Now, their ink colors, their cardstock colors, um, I don't know if that's something that if they sell out, if they're restocking that or not. I know in our September scrapbooking brochure, they do have like some two-tone cardstock, but those are in Stampin' Up! Colors. So as far as the products that's out there, I know that there's page protectors, there's these things called flip flaps that are out there. I know that those are things that they're going to continue to carry, but I think what they're looking to do is just eliminate the stock that they have that has Close to My Heart on it. So now this is open to anybody. You don't have to be just a maker or one of the maker's customers. Anybody can order anything that's Close to My Heart. So there is one section in the online store that's just Close to My Heart products. And I do have the direct link in the description if you want to check it out. Again, there's like a stamp set or two that's in there. There's some decorative masks. There's, I think, some dies, some two-tone cardstock. So uh, if you're into the scrapbooking, but then again, you can use the cardstock and stuff for doing cards as well. Right now it's 30% off. They actually don't have an end date on this at all. They just started I believe last week or the earlier this week. I don't remember which day, but I guess basically until they sell out of the actual close to my heart products. So with that, let's bring in the stuff that I am using for tonight. So we're using the Autumn Expressions bundle. So we have the stamp set and the coordinating set of dies. Also, we have the 6x6 DSP. So one side has a nice, like, I don't want to say watercolor painted image to it. And then you have like a solid side like this. So there's a lot of different images in here, a lot of fall. There's also a couple in here too that have like some Lazy Susans. There's some purple flowers. So a very versatile pack of paper. So we're using this on 2 of the cards that we're making tonight. And then also in this suite, as far as embellishments go, there's actually 3 embellishments. We have the faux glass dots. Now I have used these on a previous video, so these are a really nice color combination in here. We have, and I actually wrote down the color, so we have Cajun, Craze, Copper Clay, Mossy Meadow, and Wild Wheat. This color right here looks to me, it could pass for pumpkin pie as well. So we have those. Then we have the woven golden leaves, and I believe this is on all 3 projects that I will be making. And in here, you do get about 75 leaves. Now, with these, it feels like a very soft, thin metal mesh. I don't know if I really want to say metal or not, but it is heavier than regular tulle. And what's nice about this, you can use the brush end of your Stampin' Blend to color these. And then you can also do this, this is what I did on all my cards. You can kind of crumple it up, and then you can add some additional texture to it. Now on the projects that I'm doing, I did not color any of this, but it's an option if you want to do that. And then the other embellishment is a ribbon, and I really, really like this ribbon. This is the Wild Wheat Rustic Striped Ribbon. So you really have a nice texture where you have the satin wild wheat on the outer edges, and then you have like this white thread that's in there. I think it's really pretty ribbon. I think this ribbon and those embellishments, not the leaves, I think they are currently on back order. They are coming back. I didn't get the chance to really check anything out before I came online because I was pretty much in a rush to get everything set up. So let me bring in those things that we're using for the first card. So for this one, now this is kind of a take off of the one that's in the catalog. So let me grab that catalog really, really quick. And show you. So in here, there's this one card right here where it says, "Change can be beautiful. May the beauty of the season fill your heart with joy." Now, I use the same greetings on this, but instead of doing a vertical card, I did a horizontal card. And I just changed it up a little bit. So I have a piece of wild wheat. This measures 8.5 by 5.5. I've scored it at 4 1/4. I have another piece of wild wheat that measures 5 1/4 by 4. I have a piece of Mossy Meadow that measures 4 by 1 1/4. And then I have a piece of Cajun Craze. Now, this is much longer than what I need, but this measures 5 3/4 of an inch wide. I'm going to stamp my greeting on here, but then I'm going to trim this down. So I want to start off and fold and burnish. Card base. Now this card too, we're going to end up making a little bit of a mess. And you know what? There's a piece missing out of here. There's a piece missing. Did I drop it? Oh my gosh. Hold on, guys. I need to go and get a piece of basic white. Let's see. I think this piece will work. There shouldn't have been a white piece in there. All right, let me pull out, make sure this die is going to fit. So when I stamp my greeting on here, I'm also going to use the perennial postage dies. I'm going to use this one right here to cut it out. So that'll be big enough. Okay. All right. So let me get out my stamp set. Now this isn't a photopolymer set. It is a red rubber. So you can't exactly see where exactly you're stamping. The thing too is I am kind of lazy. I don't have the stickers on the back of this. Now, with these cling stamps and the sticker sheet that you can put on the back of it, the cling is extremely sticky. So basically, when you go to put this on the stickers onto your stamps, you only have one try at it. If it doesn't line up right, you can't exactly pull it off and then redo it again because you will tear the foam on the stamps. So I guess that's probably another reason. And when it sticks to here, it really sticks. But the thing too is you have to be kind of slow and careful when you go to pull it off that you don't tear it. So I'm trying to line that up as straight as I can when I go to stamp that. And then we got my greeting. Now this one, I'm going to take this and try and line this up straight from the bottom of the edge of the block. I think, does that look straight? Okay, we're going to hope for the best. All right. So the ink colors that I am using, I will be using, nope, not that one. We're going to use Pecan Pie, Mossy Meadow, Early Espresso, and Wild Wheat. So for my greeting, I'm going to do that in Pecan Pie. All right, and I'm going to pull in my silicone craft sheet. It makes it a little bit easier for me to see the white piece of cardstock. So I'm going to ink this up. And I'm going to stamp this kind of like in the middle here. Okay. And then I'm going to pull this with my die here. And again, I'm cheating. I'm using my electronic die cutter on this. instead of pulling out my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I'm just going to line, kind of center that in there. Okay, so there's our image. Okay, and I'll set that aside. And then I'm going to bring in a scrap of paper and I'll bring in this piece of Mossy Meadow. So there is a wood slice piece in here. And I'm going to stamp this like 3 times in my Mossy Meadow. I just re-inked this one, and for some reason I got a section here that looked kind of dry. I'm just going to flip this around. Okay, so there's that piece. I'm going to set that aside. And let's get that out of the way. Don't want to get ink on me. Okay, then on this piece of Cajun Craze, I'm going to bring in the greeting and the early espresso. Now, I'm not stamping this in Cajun Craze because I wanted something a little bit darker to where I could see the actual greeting. So I'm going to ink this up. And I'm going to try and center this. So I'm going to bring it down a little bit. And hope for the best. Okay, that looks good. Okay, and let's close this up. Okay, I'm going to set that aside. And I'm actually going to take these and I'm going to clean these really quick. Just so that way I don't get anything into the ink. Because my space kind of closes up very quickly. Okay, and that. Okay, so then on this piece of wild wheat, we're going to not only stamp on this, we're going to distress it, we're going to give it some interest. So I'm going to bring in my wild wheat ink, and with this wheat image, I'm going to stamp, and then I'm going to stamp it again, but I'm going to stamp off this time. And the reason why I want to do that, because this part here that's stamped off, if I would have just went and stamped this over here, this end here would have been darker than the rest of it. So what I want to do, I want to kind of have this wheat kind of work its way up at an angle. And then I will be filling in with stamping off. And it works when the ink pad's not in the way and you can actually stamp down. Looks like my wheat is just blowing in the wind. All right. So we're done with that. Okay, now one of the other things I'm going to do with this piece, and I'm going to bring in like the old sheet that I had down. As you can see, I got all these little speckles right here. So to do that, I have my deep number 100 Stampin' Blend marker, and I have my brush tip, and I'm going to grab like my bone folder. You can use your take your pick tool, something hard, and I'm going to move that out of the way, and I'm just going to tap it, and I'm going to get all these little speckles all over it. Now the other thing you could do, you can do, you know, flick the brush tip and get bigger spots, but I will tell you, after you do that one time, you will definitely end up ruining the brush tip of the marker. So just as an FYI. And of course now I got all speckles all over here, so I will be taking an alcohol wipe to that to clean it all up. Okay. So mess number 1, mess number 2, I have my little trash bin here, and I have my snips. Now for this step, you do want to be careful, especially when you're using these, because these things are extremely sharp. And I'm going to move this up just a little bit while I do this, because that is really close. So I'm going to just scrape the edges here. I'm going to be really careful as I get to these corners. I don't want to nip my finger, because that would not be good. At one time, Stampin' Up! Had this tool that would do this, and you wouldn't have to do this with your scissors. That's something they should bring back. Okay. Lots of paper fibers. And blow that off. Move that. Okay, and then another thing that I'm going to do with this to add a little bit more interest, up in this upper left-hand corner, I'm going to take my bone folder, and I'm just going to kind of curl this corner. Now, when I'm doing this as well, what it's going to do, it's going to break down the fibers a little bit. This is how you can do that faux suede technique. And I'll move this down again. Welcome, Cherie. Thank you for joining us. Hope everything is good down there in South Florida. Okay, so the more I do that, what's going to happen, the cardstock is going to start to separate. And I want it to separate, so you can see it's starting to a little bit right here. So I want to have a little bit of that interest, and I'm going to curl that a little bit. Okay, now let me get my card base, bring that in, And I'm going to get my adhesive. Add that. So as I mentioned when I first came on, at the very end, I am going to be doing a drawing, drawing, I can speak, for the cards that I have made. Up at the top, I do have a link pinned up there. If you click on that, it's going to take you to a Google spreadsheet. Add your name there. And if you're having any problems at all, just mention it in the chat and we will get your name added. What I do at the end, I do a wheel of names, and I choose 3 people to win one of the cards I make tonight. So I'm going to adhere this down to my card base. Okay, and then I'm going to take this piece here, this Mossy Meadow, add adhesive to this. And I will add this about here. I'm just butting it right up against that roughed up edge of my panel. Then the larger greeting part, I'm going to add adhesive to that. And I'm going to place that right about there. Line it up right to the top of that Mossy Meadow. And then on this greeting, I'm going to trim it down a little bit. So I'm going to bring in my little guillotine paper trimmer. This was something that Stampin' Up! Offered a few years ago during a celebration promotion for new demos. So I'm going to trim this down a little bit here on the right hand side, and then get rid of that. And I'm going to line this up about here, and then about right here I'm going to trim this end like so. Okay, and then on this I'm going to add my dimensionals. Almost done with the dimensionals on this sheet. Hello Sharon, welcome. Okay, then remember what I was telling you about the leaves? So I have one that I already crumpled up. Got another one here I'm going to crumple up. I really like these golden leaves. I just really think they're really cool looking. And actually, when you kind of hold it at a different angle, you can actually see like all these veins in the leaves, which is pretty cool. I just noticed that. And again, you can use the brush tip of your Stampin' Blend to color these. But just know that because it's really rough, you do it too much, it is going to damage the tip of your marker. All right, so then on these, I am going to bring in my glue dots. And let's see, I'm going to add one to this leaf and one to this. All right, and I'll set those aside because I know I'm going to be using them again on the other project. So I'm going to take this and kind of line this up. And then for my leaves, I'm going to tuck these under here like so. And of course it works when you got the glue dot actually touching the cardstock and not your fingers. Okay, so I'll stick that one down. And I'll place this one kind of like up here like so. Remove this. And then I'm going to take this and kind of cover up that, kind of like that seam between this die cut and the Mossy Meadow piece. And place that right there. And then we have one more step. We got these embellishments here, and I'm going to use the ones, to me, they look like they're pumpkin pie, but they're saying that they're copper clay. And usually when we have embellishments like this, where you have a large and a small, I typically use like one large one and then two small ones. Always use an odd number of embellishments. It makes it more pleasing to the eye, as they say. So there is, whoops, there is the first card. So a little bit different than the sample that they have in the catalog. All right, so let me kind of move everything out of the way and get all the stuff for the second card. I pull out all of my pieces here. And again, I try to do a lot of the die cutting ahead of time, which I had done on this one. Okay, so for this one, let me get the stamp that I need and clean that one. This poor chamois just looks like really bad. And I think I'm going to have to replace it too, because even though when I use these, typically when I am done for the day or the evening, I always try and rinse them out and then leave it open to air dry. But for some reason, it's getting a little bit yucky, so I may have to replace that. I do have somewhere around here my Stampin' Scrub, which I like that. I should really pull that out and use that. Let me put these back in here so then that way I can pull out the stamps that I need. I can see like my whole space is just kind of closing in on me here. So this one, we're going to have it say grateful for you. Now, I don't have anything stamped inside of these, so you can add whatever greeting that you want inside. I'm going to try and line this up to the best of my ability. And actually, I'm going to use my bigger block for this. Make it a little bit easier. Okay. And then let me get my silicone craft sheet. I'll make it a little bit easier for me to stamp that. Okay. So what do I have here? I have a piece. This is copper clay. This measures 8.5 by 5.5. I have scored it. What goes this way? I have scored it at 4 1/4 and 2 1/8. Then I have a piece of basic white. This measures 5 1/4 by 4. Out of that DSP, I went with the pattern that has what looks like the pumpkins on the bottom. So these pieces measure 5 1/4 by 1 7/8, and I have 3. So I'm just making sure that these all kind of line up, and they don't look like they do. So it may go this way. So when you go and you cut your paper, just be mindful how you're cutting it. So this is the way they all go together. So this will go on the first panel, and then we have 1, for the second, and then this one will go on our basic white. Then I have another piece of the Splendid Autumn. So in the process of trimming this, this is the back side of this pattern. So this piece measures 5¼ by 3/8, and this is going to go right up against this. Now, when I went to make the sample card and I glued this on and I had folded it, there was like this gap of white that was showing. So this remedies that problem by placing that right there. And then I have some scraps. I have basic white. Yeah. So evidently, what I do. All right. So so the scrap piece of white, this could possibly be the scrap white that I needed for the other project. But out of a scrap piece, I went and I die cut this image. Now this image is out of the set of dies, and in here there's this one die that it's kind of like an interesting shape. So let me show you in the catalog some of the samples of what they did with this. It was definitely an eye catcher when I first saw this. So it kind of makes something that looks, I don't know if you can say it's like just a little hanging type thing, or what mimics almost like a little purse, because there is like this die that creates almost like a clasp type of thing. And then you have this one die that does a chain. So it's something really cute and small that you can do. Yeah, there's a lot of things you can do with the die. So they created, a little, just a standalone type of little decor thing. And then there's another one here where they just put it on a card. Now I'm doing something similar to this card right here, but as you can see, they stamped that greeting and then they fussy cut it. I stamped it, took the scissors to it, and I thought, no, we're not doing that. If you know me, you know I do not like to fussy cut. So I found another way to handle that. But this piece here was die cut. When I die cut the piece out, this is the piece that is like the center part of this die right here. So that's where that came from. Then out of a scrap piece of old olive, I did die cut this detailed leaf, and out of not paper pumpkin, out of pumpkin pie, I had done this little die, and these little dies too are right here in the set of dies. Okay, so I'm going to move all this out of the way. Kind of move that DSP. So now that we got it all in order. So on my card base, I'm going to fold it in half. And bring in my bone folder. And then where I scored it at 2 1/8, I'm going to fold that over and I'm going to burnish that. So we're making a Z fold card. All right, so on this piece of basic white, I am going to take this piece of DSP. I'm going to add my adhesive. And I am going to line this up right on this right-hand edge of this basic white. Now, the one thing I have noticed when I end up using my seal to do this, that yeah, it's not like when you use liquid glue where it's very forgiving and gives you that opportunity to kind of like move things around. So I just want to line that up the best that I can. Okay, it's still not lined up at the very edge. I should have used liquid glue for this part. I'll press that down. Now, what I was mentioning before about this little tiny strip right here. So if I put this in my card like so, and I close this, you then see this white gap right here. So by taking this piece and putting it right next to it, you won't see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of glue and just to hold that down. And then I'm going to add just a little line of glue to where I'm going to put that DSP. And again, this is just a scrap piece off of, it's the back side of this paper. So this color here is copper clay. And I'm just going to put that right up against that and stick that down. So now you'll see when it's in there, you're not going to see that white anymore. And I could see that I need to move it down just a little bit. Okay. Now I'll take this piece and of course in this section right here you can either stamp a little greeting or you can write something in there. And then I'm going to center this right in here like so. Okay, and then this is our next piece. You can see that that kind of matches up with that. So this is going to go on this inner panel here. All right, and then I'm going to line this up, kind of line it up with this panel that I had put down. Put that right there. And then our last piece will go on this front one. Okay. Tell you what, we sell that Seal Plus. I mean, that's really good, like if you're doing 3-dimensional stuff. I'll tell you what, the regular seal, this stuff really sticks very well. So even if you made a 3-dimensional project with the regular stuff, I think it'll work fine. So this is what the card would look like when it's open fully. So you can kind of see the whole scene kind of just continues on. So that's what it looks like when it's closed. Okay, and then on this die cut piece here, I'm going to bring in my silicone craft sheet, and I'm going to bring in my Mossy Meadow ink, and then I'm going to ink up this Grateful for You. One of the things I do like about this stamp set is the greetings and the fonts that they used. I really like this script font that they use, and what's nice, these greetings are really large too. Okay, so then let me bring this down. It's a little bit easier for me to do this. I'm just hoping for the best. Okay, and there's our greeting. All right, and then the other thing I want to do, I want to bring in my copper clay ink. Now copper clay is a little more brownish and a bit lighter than Cajun Craze. Okay, and then let me clean this really quick. And then what I want to do with this piece, I have my small blending brush. Like put some on this. And I'm just going to lightly brush around the edges. And then I can just very lightly put a little bit in the middle so you don't really have that harshness of that white cardstock. Okay. And then it's assembly time. So this time I'm going to bring in the ribbon for this. And let's see if I can get this attached as easily as it went last night when I did this card. So I'm going to take this ribbon, I'm going to come under this front panel, and I'm going to bring it up, and I'm going to tie a bow. Try to tie a bow. Without my ribbon getting all twisty on me. Now, one of the things I'm going to do, a little trick that I saw, I think this was Julie DiMatteo that did this. So reverse locking tweezers can become that third hand for doing something like this. So I'm going to take my ribbon and I'm going to kind of hold that taut. And then I'm going to take my tweezers and just go right over where they kind of join. And then I'm going to tie my bow. And let's hope that it'll work and I'm not fighting with it. There are some demos I will tell you that are like pros at doing this. And I will tell you, Dina Rico is one of them. She doesn't need the use of a tweezer to do this. Okay, I think I can pull that out. Now that worked pretty well. I'm just going to slide that up a little bit. And then I'm going to trim. If I can get this to stop popping up on me. Okay, and then one of the things I want to do to kind of hold this ribbon down, I'm going to take a glue dot. There's my glue dot. Okay. And I'm just going to add that right under here to hold that down. So that way it doesn't slide off. So there's our ribbon. Slide that down a little bit. Okay. Now, let's take our greeting piece, and on the left side here, up to like that middle part there, I'm going to add a few dimensionals. You don't want to go past that middle part because you don't want to stick your card closed. And we cleared out that sheet. Hello, is it Jean or Jeannie? Welcome. So for anybody new that's popped on, I have pinned up at the top of the live chat, there is a link to a Google spreadsheet. At the end of my lives, I do a drawing for the 3 cards that I had created tonight. So go ahead and add your name to the spreadsheet. And if you have any issues at all, just message that in the chat box and we'll get you added. Okay, so then I'm going to take, well, I'm going to kind of just set that aside because I want to add these again, my little leaves here. So I'm going to grab 2 more of these woven leaves. And I'm going to crinkle those up too. You know, Terry, what doesn't help when tying a bow is when you don't give yourself enough ribbon because you like the ribbon like so much, so you don't want to waste it. So yeah, sometimes I do cut it too short and then yeah, it's just not working. All right, so on these leaves, again, I'm going to add a glue dot to the base of them. And then I'm going to do the same, the same thing with these 2 die cut leaves. Oops, we got another one here. We almost skipped over. All right. All right, so then I'm going to take this and kind of place this where I want this, just so I know where I'm going to place these leaves. I'm going to kind of tuck this under my ribbon, or attempt to. I really tied this ribbon on here kind of tight because there's not a lot of slack in. Okay, and then I'm going to take my little pumpkin pie leaf and kind of tuck that under there as well. And then unstick that leaf off of my finger. So this is going to go here. I'll tuck this under like so. And then add my old olive leaf right there. And now I can stick this down. So the half on this side, the left side of this little cutout here, I'm going to add that right here, like so. So you can see now it opens up. Again, you don't want any of them to stick out on that side or it'll seal your card shut and you want to be able to open that. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to add some of these faux glass dots, and this time I'm going to use the Cajun Craze color. I tried to do each of the different colors that I saw in the paper when it came to choosing, you know, the embellishments. I wanted to kind of even all these colors out. And then we got one more. I'm going to place that one right up there. Okay, so there is the second card, a fun Z fold. And in here you can either stamp or you can write your little greeting in there. Okay, so now let me get everything out of the way and bring stuff in for the third card. I think I did clean that off. Now for this card, we're going to be using that die, this one right here, but we're not going to be using the whole thing. We're only going to use one of the sides of it. All right, so for this one, we are going to use the greeting that says, "Have a perfectly lovely day." Aww. Oh, yeah, and then we need our wheat again, and then we have an oak leaf. So we've used most of the greetings in here. The only two that we haven't used is "You've Got This" and "Dear Friend." All right, now another thing that I'm going to bring in with this one too is my 2 3/8 inch circle punch. This is in the online exclusives. Let's see, what else do I need here? So let me get all the stuff that we're using. Okay, so on this one I did do my die cutting ahead of time. All right. So for this one, I have a piece of basic white thick. This measures 8.5 by 5.5. I've scored it at 4 1/4. I have another pattern of that Splendid Autumn DSP. This is the one that has like the Lazy Susans on it. This measures 5.5 by 4 1/4. So this is going to completely cover the whole front of our card. Then I have some scraps. So I have a scrap that I am going to stamp my greeting on and then punch it out with my circle punch. And then I have another piece that I'm going to stamp the wheat and the oak leaf on, and then I'll be die cutting that. So, and then oh, I'm missing stuff here. So then out of another pattern of that paper, I had die cut. So like I was showing you with that die. So on one side you have a larger opening and a thinner frame. And then on this side you have a larger frame and a smaller insert. So this piece here, this is die cut out of Blackberry Bliss. So this is the frame right there, and then this DSP was die cut from the center part of that. And then also in the dies there is that little chain, so I die cut a piece out of Blackberry Bliss. So when I die cut this piece, I just put that in there and die cut it all at the same time. And then out of Mossy Meadow, I did another one of those little leaves. Okay, so on here for my greeting, I'm going to bring in my block. Now this one I'm going to stamp in Blackberry Bliss ink. Okay, and I'm just going to stamp that right in the center. I'm not worried about if it's upside down, crooked, or anything else. It is a circle, so just as long as we adhere it onto our card base straight. So I love that font. It's a really nice font. So let me clean this. Okay. And then I'll close this. We're done with this color ink. Then I'm going to punch this out. At first, when I went to do this, I started with the scissors, and like I said, I'm like, nope, we're not doing that. I do need to trim this a little bit, though, because looks like I'm going to have a hard time trying to get this in here. And hopefully I don't take too much off. I still not got it enough. Okay. Be a little bit easier if I don't have it upside down. Okay. So 2 3/8 inch circle punch punches that out perfectly. All right. Then let's see, on that other scrap piece that I have here, I'm going to bring in my wild wheat and my Cajun Craze. And let's put these on blocks. All right. How on earth did I end up getting ink all over that? Just wipe that off really quick. Oof. Oh, that's not good. Blackberry Bliss is definitely one of those colors that you will easily get all over your fingers. Oh, and of course I got ink on my fingers. Is it really a stamping session if you don't get any ink on your fingers? Are you really a stamper? Okay, so on this scrap piece here, I'm going to take the wild wheat. That's right. And then it's not fun if you get that ink on your white cardstock. All right, so I'm going to stamp that. And then my maple leaf, I'm going to do that in Cajun Craze. And stamp that right over here. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in my blending brush. Now on here I have wild wheat ink, and I'm just going to brush this over this. Now you can do this after you die cut, but I'm just finding it'll be a little bit easier just to do this ahead of time. Okay, and then for this oak leaf, instead of using Cajun Craze, if you remember was it the second card? Yeah, the second card. I had some copper clay on this brush, so I'm going to use this to go over this Cajun Craze oak leaf. Okay. So move those out of the way. And then we're going to die cut that. So let me bring in my cutting plate here. And then I'm going to pull out the dies. Now some people have all their dies like on a yeah, a metallic sheet. I don't have that, so some people they do that, but to me I find that if I did that and put it in the case, then it just makes it bulkier and heavier. So one of the things I don't like that double-sided tape that they use to hold the dies down. So when I usually get my dies, I tend to get them off of that sheet. And okay, okay, it's right there. Wow. Now the thing with the die here for this oak leaf, you will notice that you will see the outer edge past that stamped image. So it does create a bigger border. Okay. All right, where is it? It's probably right in front of me. Nope, it's in my little tray here. Let me go die cut this. Okay. Okay, so there's those pieces. Magnetic sheets, is that what magnetic, that's it. I said metallic, didn't I? Wow, I'm telling you, everybody, words, you start filming yourself, and who knows what comes out of your mouth. Let's see, where did when I first started, I said that I was in Ohio, evidently, rather than Tennessee. I used to live in Ohio, then I moved down here, and now I've probably said a metallic sheet instead of magnetic sheet. Filming like causes weird things to happen to your brain, I tell you. All right, let me get these out of the way. All right, so like I was mentioning before, where I used my seal to put that paper down. Now for this, because I am doing the whole entire front of this card base, I am going to use my liquid glue on this. Okay, and let me get that. Now this glue here, it's the Tombow multi-purpose glue that we sell in the catalog. These bottles, these fine tip bottles, I got off of Amazon. There is a link to these bottles at the bottom of the description of the video. Oh, there's a full moon. I don't know. I don't know. Well, with me, I think it's just the fact that I record. I told my friend Yvonne, who I haven't seen her, so she'll probably watch the replay later on. She's thinking about wanting to do videos, and I said to her that, you know what, I'm just going to say this right up front. I know that my videos will never, ever, ever be perfect. They never will. And, who knows what's going to come out of my mouth. Just as long as what comes out of my mouth isn't, dirty or naughty or raunchy or anything like that, I think we'll be good. But yeah, sometimes words are hard. It's like it's right there, you know what it is, but then you just can't think of the word. So I just laugh at myself, that's all. Okay, so I've added some glue on here, and this is going to cover the whole card front. I'm just going to kind of put this in place. This just would not work if I used the seal. But I definitely would be tearing it off, trying to line it all up. But then again, with this glue too, I put it in the fine tip glue bottle because it's one of those glues where you don't need much of it. It does have a latex in it, so a little tiny bit sticks really, really well. So for some people, they use a little bit more, and yeah, they got that wiggle room. But when I use as little as I do, then it's like it starts to dry. Okay, so the froggy been there, done that, have a ton of scraps that have accidental ink on one side. Well, what's funny in that, I don't know, she may hate me for saying this, but if you've been with me the past, well, for past lives, usually my assistant, she's here, Yvonne, she goes by, she's using her husband's YouTube name, so you would always see her as Don Newberry. Um, when she's here, she's like one intense stamper. I told her, you are an intense stamper because when she stamps, I swear, I kid you not, she's got more ink on her fingers than I think she's got on the cardstock. And sometimes I know where she's been because sometimes I may see a little ink smudge on something. So yeah, she definitely, yeah, she really gets into her stamping. Okay, so now let's get this card put together. So on this piece here, I'm going to attach these pieces here. So let me see here. I'm going to bring in some dimensionals because this is what's going to hold this together. So this fits right in here. And I think I'm going to kind of take this and attach this in the back. So maybe I can do this. I'm going to do it this way. Instead of using a dimensional to try and hold like 3 pieces down, I'm going to take this. I'm going to stick this down like so. So I'm just kind of getting that outer edge. It does leave a little tab right there, so you're able to glue that down. Okay, now I'm going to line this DSP up in there. And I'm going to use my dimensionals to kind of hold the 2 pieces together. Kind of did the same thing when a few weeks ago on a Friday Night Live, I had used the Regal Flora suite. And I kind of did this where I fit the 2 pieces together and used my dimensionals to kind of hold it all together. So I end up using a little bit more than I normally would. So I don't know about where you guys live, but I'll tell you, this past week, it's been absolutely glorious down here. Our temperatures, for the most part, have been in the 70s, but I will tell you that there were a couple of days where it was lower to mid, maybe upper 60s. Oh man, it was glorious. I love fall. The only thing I don't like is when you're down in the south, it just takes a little bit longer for fall to come down here. And fall is definitely my favorite season. That's the one thing I miss from when, I'm from New York, but when I was living in New York and in Ohio, that's the one thing that I miss. You really experienced all four of the seasons. And typically when you got into September, you were really starting to experience fall thing, the temperatures were cooler and all the leaves on the trees were all changing. Here it just takes forever. Oh, you're up in Canada. Oh yeah, I was gonna say no. I had to really look like, wait a minute, who died? Yeah, okay, yeah, you're up in Canada. Wow, not over 40 degrees, but the snow hasn't stuck. Yeah, the crazy thing about down here, okay, I'll take snow like some on Christmas, maybe New Year's, that's fine, but then that's all I want. I don't want no more. And the other problem in Ohio, I was up around Cleveland. I started out in Middleburg Heights, and then I was in Brook Park. I was on the east side of Cleveland, like in Euclid at one point. But yeah, pretty much northeast Ohio. Are you in Ohio, Jeannie? Ooh, warmer than usual winter. Yeah, see, the thing is down here, the thing we gotta watch, it's not so much, snow, it's ice. And the other thing I want to do before I stick this down, I want to take my snips and I'm going to remove these little tabs on all sides, on both the sides of this. Yeah, the thing is down here, we tend to get more ice than snow. And okay, I got to say this. I find this hilarious. So when you're from okay, you're in Cincinnati. Cincinnati's pretty. When I would drive through to go up to Ohio, it's really pretty. Um, yeah, people that are okay, I'm not meaning to offend anybody, but the one thing I found kind of funny is that people down here in the South who don't typically really see snow, that when it snows, even if it's just a dusting, they go insanely crazy and get excited about it. And to me, it's like, guys, you don't even have enough to make a snowman. If you want snow, you just go up north and you can have all the snow that you want. It's one of the reasons why I moved down here because I wasn't in upstate New York. I was out on Long Island. And you can get nor'easters and you can get the snow if the wind's blowing right. And yeah, sometimes, even in Ohio, there was lake effect snow. So yeah, you want snow, that you just go up north and you can have all the snow you want. It's one of the reasons why I came down here. And the one year, I think a few years ago, when we did get a whole bunch of snow, yeah, I didn't think that was funny. There's a reason why I had left the north. But then I'll tell you what, then I start missing it around this time of the year. And when it's summertime, yeah, I really don't like summertime down here. It just gets way too hot. All right, so I'm going to take this piece here and I'm going to center that like so. And then I am going to take a little tiny drop. Ugh, Terry, you just need to go someplace where you got seasons. And where you're closer to Memphis, Tennessee. Okay, and then we'll stick that down. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in some more of this ribbon, and I'm going to make a small bow. I've seen projects also done where they've taken this ribbon and they've cut it in half. This is just really nice ribbon. And I'm kind of hoping that, you know, when this catalog retires, that this ribbon is one of those things that they kind of carry over. And if not, you best believe I'm going to be getting a few rolls of it. You know, hoard it like I do all the other ribbons that I got that I haven't used that are still in the cellophane. Same thing with the DSP. But I will say that now, since I've been doing videos, I have been getting a whole lot better on using the DSP. And when I've been trying to clean up and organize and all that, and when I moved and I had to move all these boxes with paper and stuff in it, I realized, yeah, you just got way too much stuff. And since I've been here, I've accumulated more. So that means that's more to move. So I really should take the time to kind of purge some stuff. Sharon, oh my gosh, you're from you're from Long Island too. Awesome. What what town in what town are you from? That's awesome. A fellow Long Islander. Okay, so then next step. Let's get a glue dot and put down wait, way out east. New Suffolk? Or are you meaning Suffolk County? I'm from, well, yeah, I lived in Suffolk County. I lived in Eastport, kind of like in between. Riverhead was the next town over from Eastport. So I was like in between Riverhead and Spionk and Quogue, West Hampton Beach. So you weren't far from me. Are you serious? Is he teaching at the elementary? Because the elementary school right there in town, before they kind of changed things, it was all years. Okay, so the high school, I think, is actually technically in Manorville because they kind of combined them. But oh my gosh, how awesome is that? That is really cool. See, someone who knows where Eastport is. The last time I was back there was in 2016. I'll tell you, you want to know what I do miss? And let me ask you this, Sharon, if this is what you miss too. I miss the beaches. I did not like going during the daytime because you would get the flock of everybody from the city that would come out to the East End, and I hated that time of the year. But when the lifeguard was done for the day and there's like nobody on the beach, I loved going down to the beach at that time. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. All right, so again, just like I did on these other cards, I am going to bring in two more of these leaves. Yeah, you know, that's one thing, Sharon. I wouldn't mind being there, but it's just so darn expensive now. I mean, things have gotten expensive here, but yeah, I don't think I could even afford to live there. But it is pretty. Well, not when it's summer. And my favorite place, my favorite place on Long Island, go all the way to the end. I love going to the Montauk Point Lighthouse. I love everything that's nautical and lighthouses, and that would be my favorite place to go. Uh-huh. Oh, okay. So Garden City, I think that was Nassau County. That's a little bit closer to the city. All right. Now, let me take, so I'm going to place this right here because that's where I'm going to put it, but I'm going to get my glue dots and I'm going to start sticking some things down here. Okay, Orient side, I believe that was the northern side. So that was the Long Island Sound side. That is so awesome. It's always awesome to come across somebody that that's from, you know, the same area where you're from. That's cool. See, now I'm never going to forget that. Okay, so I'm going to stick that down. Yep, North Fork, North Fork. Okay. Yeah, and Eastport's more, there's more south. Okay, so I got those down. Our glue dots. Okay, so I got those. I'm going to add some dimensionals to the back of this, but I'm not going to take the backings off quite. Oh, shoot. No, 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 no. We only want one dimensional on here, not three, because we already have that piece popped up. And we just need it to on the side where it's going to overhang from that. I almost made a big boo-boo. Okay, so now I'm going to take these pieces. I'm just going to kind of place them down lightly. And I'll press them down once I know I got them in the right place. Okay. So again, this is going to go just on one side. And then I'm going to add some seal on this. Well, I went from Long Island to Cleveland, Ohio. And I was there for about 15 years. And then I came down here because I was honestly kind of tired of the snow. I mean, I can drive in snow. I've lived with snow all my life, but I just wanted to not have it. But now it's like I kick myself that, you know, I kind of miss, especially this time of the year. But it's not like it's easy for me to just pick up and go back up north because that would just be a big move, big expensive move. All right, so our last thing that we're going to do to this card, let me get my take your pick tool, and this time I'm going to use the wild wheat colored ones. And hold on a second. All right, I got my little sample card on the side here. I'm just seeing where I had placed these. Okay, so there is the third card. So let me kind of tidy up a little bit here and get things out of the way. So while I'm doing this, let me bring it up so you could see it a little bit better. Okay. So so while I'm kind of tidying up just a little bit here, again, I have linked up at the top. There's a link to the Google spreadsheet. Add your name to that. I'm going to do a drawing for the 3 cards that I have made tonight. Carol, what do you mean? You'd like to go back to Virginia, but think about the moving and especially Stampin' Up. What do you mean about the Stampin' Up part? Yeah, I don't have like any fancy software, so in order for me to do this part, I literally have to bring my laptop into the screen. Oh, you're talking about just moving all that stuff. I get you. Yeah, I'm thinking at some point that I don't know. I got stuff that goes all the way back from 2013, October 2013 when I first joined, and then I have some stuff that I had prior to that when I was in Ohio, and and those were all wood mounted stamps. And I actually in 2020, when we weren't allowed to go anywhere and we had to stay at home, well, I bought the stuff and I unmounted all those stamps off of those wooden blocks and I made them into cling mount. All right, so let me kind of move all of this out of the way. All right, so we have, so here are our cards. So here's the first one that we made. This is, yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem, Carol. It's like, there's a reason why we bought it, right? And a lot of things I got just before it would retire. Some of this stuff, I'll tell you, on Throwback Thursdays, some of these stamp sets I pull out have not seen ink on them yet. And that's pretty bad. So at least that's the one good thing about doing those Throwback Thursdays. So this is my version of the card sample that they have in the mini catalog. And then our second one is a Z fold. So we did a scenery card here using that Splendid Autumn DSP. Again, really, really love this wild wheat rustic ribbon. And then our third one, we did the one with those Lazy Susans. That's what they're called, right? Lazy Susans? Or am I thinking of that turntable thing? I don't know. Like I told you guys, words are hard. Words are hard. So there's our third card where we did use that die. I don't even know how to describe that shape. Okay, so again, I'm going to give everyone one more chance. Black-eyed Susans, thank you. Thank you. See, words are hard, guys. They really are. Okay, so Let me fix yours here, Sharon. Looks like it missed a couple of letters. All right, so I have Terry, Froggy, Carol, and Sharon. Yeah, I do. But what's really nice is since March of 2020, I work from home. So what's not good is the fact that I work in the same room. That's my studio. So yeah. All right. So do we have anybody else? Jeannie, I'm sorry. I don't know if it's Jean or Jeannie. Are you still here with us? If there's anybody else on here, I'm going to tell you. So according to what I'm seeing on my phone and on the laptop, it's saying 7 are watching, and I know that I count for 2 of those people. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a wheel of names. I'm going to do a drawing. When I call your name, you choose 1, 2, or 3. Now, if I only have, when I'm, like I said, I'm looking at the list and I'm only seeing like 4 people on this list. And if it comes down to that, that's all there is 4 people, then everybody will end up with a card. So I'm going to now take all of these names. Jeannie. Oops. Okay. All right, Jeannie, let me add your name to it, okay? Whoops. Okay, let's see. I apologize for my arm being... Okay, my phone just like did this spinning thing and then tell me I'm live. Just as long as this thing don't okay, so Jeannie, I did add your name. Okay, so right now I have Terry, Froggy, Carol, Sharon, and Jeannie. I think, yeah, I don't know why my phone did that. All I know is I saw like the circle spinning on it. And usually it'll do that like when I go to end it. And I'm like, okay, we're not done yet. All right, so that's who I have. So I'm going to take my names and I'm going to add it into my wheel of names. Okay, now again, just like I do all the other times, this is not a pretty way to do it, but I just don't have the fancy software to switch screens. So I have my sample cards as well. So since I only have 5 names here, everybody on here will get a card. So let me pull out all the cards. So when I draw your name, now I'm going to kind of bring in my laptop. This is a crazy way of doing this, but this is really the only way I can do this, so that way you can see who I'm drawing. Let me get my pen and paper. I still got names on here from last week. Okay, so what I'm going to do, let me move those out of the way so you're not seeing that. So I am going to spin this, and when it lands on your name, just choose 1, 2, and 3. So the order in which I had made the cards, so 1, 2, and 3, and I'll put that aside. I'll put that aside for you. So let me, where's my mouse? There it is. So let me spin. Terry, which one would you like? 1, 2, or 3? 2? Okay. All right. Carol. Number 3, okay. All right. Let's click on the right thing here. I really got to figure out a better way to do this because this just looks awkward. Jeannie. You like it this way? Okay. I can see that, you know, when the camera's in it, that it does look really dark. Which one would you like, Jeannie? 1, 2, or 3? Okay, Terry. Thank you. Thank you for joining me tonight. You have a good weekend. Number 3, okay. Okay, so Jeannie, when we're done, what in the description is my email address. I love you too. Send me an email with your mailing address so that way I can get your card out to you. Okay, so our next one. Froggy, would you like number 1 or number 2? Number 2. Okay, and then Sharon, which one would you like? Oh, well, we only got number 1 left. Okay. All right. So there we go. We got everything. Let me kind of move this all out of the way. Of course, my arm is right in the screen. So I will get these cards out. So tomorrow morning, I'm going to be good and early when they open up the polling location. I'm going to take care of early voting. This is actually the first time I'm voting in my lifetime. So yeah, so it's a new experience for me. So I think since I'm not going to be far from the post office, I'll get all of these cards out tomorrow. So again, Jeannie, my email address is in the description of the video. Just send me your mailing address and I'll get your card out to you as well. Um, yeah, I don't know. I just felt like I needed to do it. I needed to do it this year because yeah, I just can't take any more of what we've been dealing with these past 3.5 years. So, okay, so that is it for tonight. Next week, I believe that's just before Halloween. So I am going to be featuring the Potions and Spells bundle. That is a bundle that is in our online exclusives. Uh, with the scrapbooking brochure that came out, they did come out with some DSP that coordinates with it. So I do have that paper as well. So since it's going to be the last Friday before Halloween, I will be featuring that bundle. And then on Halloween, since it falls on a Thursday, there's actually going to be two pre-recorded videos on that Thursday, one for the holiday and one for a throwback, which will be Halloween projects. So, so again, thank you everyone for joining me, and have a really wonderful weekend wherever it is that you're at. And everyone, have a blessed one, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.